Hello, very good afternoon. No, uh, I'm just, I have just got up having watched a Netflix series, uh, or should I say a Netflix movie, and I'm very emotional about it today. Uh, and the movie's name is The Imitation Game. I mean, Cumberbatch and the others were cast in that. Benedict Cumberbatch was cast in the role of Alan Turing, uh, and I'm sure everybody knows Alan Turing and who he is. Alan Turing was a professor of mathematics uh, in University of Cambridge, and he was recruited by Her Majesties to decode the Enigma code, the German Enigma code, to assist to aid the Allies. He did that and almost reduced the span of World War II by say a couple of years. Otherwise, the Second World War would have continued for a couple of years more. But Alan Turing never received his due in terms of honor, recognition, acknowledgements, accolades, anything. He didn't receive anything. And do you know what his fault was? Yes, he invented Turing machine. He was instrumental in probably developing artificial intelligence for the first time in human history. He is the earlier fathers. He is one of the earlier fathers of computer, and he decoded German Enigma code and helped England evade Nazi onslaught and save billions of lives by kind of reducing Second World War by a couple of years. I mean, had he not decoded the German Enigma machine, I mean, the World War would have continued for a couple of years more, and we would have had more catastrophes, more injuries. England would have suffered 2, 3, 4, 5 years more than what England eventually did. But in spite of everything, Alan Turing is not credited his due. You know why Alan Turing was never credited? Yes, he was guilty, and he was guilty of a massive charge. Yes, and what was his charge? He was homosexual, and yes, and actually he was guilty of 3 reasons. One, homosexuality. The second reason was homosexuality, and the third reason was homosexuality, and he was accused of 2 more reasons: homosexuality and homosexuality. So when you suffer from a disease called homosexuality, I mean, you don't deserve anything. You don't deserve any acknowledgements. You don't deserve any national honor. You don't deserve any national accolades. You don't deserve absolutely anything. You deserve nothing at all. And England gave him nothing at all. And no, he invented artificial intelligence. No, he doesn't deserve anything. He invented almost the initial computers. No, he didn't deserve anything. He decoded German Enigma machine and reduced the span of Second World War by 2 years, by a couple of years, and saved billions of lives. Even then, he didn't deserve anything because he was homosexual. Now in this YouTube video, and why I have decided to shoot another YouTube video as soon as I have finished watching Netflix's The Imitation Game. uh, is because I want to clarify why homosexuality is such a big bloody problem for the rest of the world, for this beautiful world, for this beautiful heteropatriarchal, heteronormative world. And I'm telling you what's the problem. And homosexuality disturbs our faith in the relation between gender and sexuality. Yes, it disturbs our faith. I'm repeating, homosexuality disturbs our kind of faith in the relationship between gender and sexuality. And because homosexuality disturbs our faithful understanding of the relationship between gender and sexuality, homosexuality is a problem to be cured. And you know what was done to Alan Turing? Alan Turing was punished either for a couple of years imprisonment, or he was given an option that go through hormonal therapy, so that Britain as a nation and British law could cure him of an absolutely infernal disease called homosexuality. So British government and British law was trying to cure Alan Turing of a disease called homosexuality, and excuse me, my fascination for inverted commas grows by leaps and bounds. And yes, we are talking about how homosexuality disturbs our trust in a relationship, a faithful relationship between gender and sexuality. We fail to conform to both gender and sexuality, because if you are masculine, then your sexuality should be heterosexual, and in that sense you are supposed to be feeling attracted to women. So since you are male sex body and you don't even end up performing masculinity, although the wars performing, the soldiers who perform masculinity as soldiers during the Second World War could not save England. It took almost a gay man, a gay professor, to use his knowledge of mathematics to discover and to decode German Enigma machine and save England from the Nazi onslaught. So it took a gay man, a gay professor, to save England in World War II. The warriors, the soldiers were not good enough. So men with their masculinities were simply not good enough to save England in World War II. It took a gay mathematics professor from the Cambridge University to save England from Germans. Now, who are these peoples? Who are these guys who are the proper soldiers who couldn't save England? They are red-blooded men. And who are red-blooded men? Now, red-blooded men are those people over whom you can investigate, research. If the doctors slit this part of the body and take the sample of blood out of a red-blooded man, the blood would be red. And who is a gay man? And gay man is someone, if you slit the hand and take out the sample of the blood won't be red, the blood would be rainbow, would be vibgyor. So that is the difference from red-blooded men and with gay men and red-blooded men. And one thing is very interesting is that England needed a rainbow-colored blooded man to save England from Nazi attack in World War II. All the red-blooded men were simply not good enough to protect England from the Nazis, from the German onslaught. So what irony. So masculinity, patriarchy couldn't protect England in war. So it needed a service of a homosexual professor to save England. All the masculinity were simply not good enough. And I don't know what good is that masculinity and that patriarchy. So, but there are so many people who are called, whom we call new liberals. And who are these new liberals? Now these new liberals are those people who are even more patriarchal, because New liberal is that person who would say, okay, my son is gay, okay, I would find a boyfriend for my son, but I would also find a surrogate mother for my son who would give the child to my son. You may make love and sleep with your boyfriend as much as you want, but give me a grandchild with that uh, surrogate lady that we might hire. So this is the new liberals. So new liberals, therefore, are even more patriarchal than otherwise. And we have to remember that, therefore, gender is obviously a fiction, but even sex is as much a fiction as gender has always already been. Now let's understand the role of parents in this regard, because parents are incredibly heteronormative, and what they do, they become very happy when the nurse leaves the table, as I was pointing out in my last upload, and whenever there is a son, they die in joy. But if anything remains unfulfilled, or if something that parents could not do, the great heteronormative and heteropatriarchal teachers often end up doing. So I am very critical of the teachers in schools, colleges and universities, because most of these teachers, professors, they are incredibly heteronormative. So whenever a parents they fail to turn their sons and daughters into perfect heterosexual matches, the teachers come to their rescue and they make it up. So congratulations, teachers and parents both are working hand in gloves to hoist the flag of heteronormativity flying. And on this note, I would conclude this video with a beautiful song of Tom Robinson. And who is Tom Robinson? Tom Robinson is someone who used to sing "Glad to be Gay," and then suddenly Tom Robinson, and he used to do that in nightclubs and pubs, and on one of those occasions Tom Robinson fell in love with a girl, and now Tom Robinson suddenly wakes up in the morning and says, oh God, I used to be gay, I used to sing songs in pubs and clubs, now what would I do with my newfound heterosexuality? So Tom Robinson and suddenly started living a double sexual life, that is, living with his girlfriend on one hand and singing "Glad to be Gay" in pubs and bars in USA on another. So this makes me queer. Even heterosexuality is also queer, because sexuality is so ever-changing, free-floating signifier that you could be gay today and you could be heterosexual tomorrow and you could be transgender and the next day. So once Judith Butler was asked in an interview that, ma'am, are you lesbian? And Judith Butler said, not today. And on this note, I would take a leave of you, and I would try to contribute more to Butler, queer theory and gender studies. Thank you. See you soon.